Hello everyone, welcome to Rao's Competitive Academy, useful for UPSC, APPSC, TSPSC, SSC Railways. Today's lecture, Introduction to Economics. Now, chronology. What is economics? Classification, neoliberalism, socialist economics, development economics and green economics. Today, we are going to cover these aspects. Now, what is economics? Household management is the essential meaning of economics. In other words, scarce resource management is the substance of economics. When the resources are at scarce, how do you manage them? It comes under economics. Economics covers production, distribution, trade and consumption of goods and services. Economics is a social science that studies human activity aimed at satisfying needs and wants. Aimed at satisfying needs and wants. For example, you want toothpaste. It is very essential for you. That is your need. That is to be manufactured and it is to be fulfilled. And your wants also to be satisfied or fulfilled. So you want accessories, some of the accessories. For example, earphones to listen to the music. Your want or your desire is to be satisfied. That is nothing but. So economy, how can you define? Economics is a social science that studies human activity aimed at satisfying needs and wants. Simply, this is what we call it economics. Adam Smith is generally regarded as father of economics. He defines economics as the science of wealth. Economics is a science relating to the laws of production, distribution and exchange according to the Adam Smith. Earlier economists used to emphasize on wealth economics. Earlier economists used to emphasize on wealth economics instead of talking about welfare economics. Wealth emphasizes production and consumption. So earlier economists also used to emphasize about wealth economics. Wealth economics obviously focuses on this production and consumption. So that is the reason why here wealth occupied first place and man came to the second spot. Because earlier economists also used to emphasize on wealth economics. Wealth economics always focuses on this production and consumption and forgot about this welfare economics. So all the time talking about wealth economics. That is the reason why man came to the second spot. Now there is a shift in the focus from this wealth economics to the welfare economics. Welfare economics is nothing but study of man and of human welfare, not of money alone. Accept it. Money is obviously very important in our life, but how much it is necessary? We created money, but money did not create people. All the time talking about wealth economics, so there is no use. We need to talk about humans' welfare. So that's the reason why there is a shift in the focus from this wealth economics to the welfare economics. Now, how can you define the economics? So with regard to the welfare economics, how can we define now? So there is a drastic change. So economics involves social action connected with the attainment of human well-being. That is nothing but welfare economics. Economics involves social action connected with the attainment of human well-being now. Now, how can you classify the economics? So classification, micro and macro economics. Microeconomics, which would examine the economic behavior of individual actors such as businesses, household and consumers, to understand how decisions are made in the face of scarcity and what effects they have. Microeconomics, obviously, for example, microeconomics examples: how much is the total production in an individual industrial unit? How much is the total production? Or how many cars you have? How much office space you have? That comes under microeconomics, because it would examine the economic behavior of individual actors. Total output in an industrial unit. What is the total output? Clear? So it would examine the economic behavior of these individual actors. How many cars, how much office space you have, how much is the total production in any industrial unit. So micro level it studies. Macro, nation as a whole, which would study the obviously nation as a whole. For example, macroeconomics example: inflation of that particular country, inflation, poverty situation, unemployment situation, and balance of payments. So nation as a whole, which would deal about the aspects of nation as a whole, friends. Economic aspects of nation as a whole. So that is nothing but macroeconomics. Macroeconomics example: so inflation of that particular country, poverty situation, balance of payments problems, employment situation, all these things, which would talk about nation as a whole. This is the basic distinction between micro and macroeconomics. Now, neoliberalism. So what is meant by this neoliberalism? It refers to the policies such as individual liberty, free markets, free trade. It proposes that human well-being can best be advanced by liberating individual entrepreneurial freedoms and skills within an institutional framework characterized by strong private property rights. For example, when you want to manufacture a particular product in the company in your own way, in what way you want to design a particular product, you can design it. There are no kind of restrictions. Individual entrepreneur freedoms, there are no kind of restrictions, like locally available raw material only need to be utilized to manufacture a particular product. There is no kind of restriction. You can utilize it. So in an innovative manner, in what way you want to design a particular product, you can. So that is nothing but individual entrepreneur freedoms, free markets. There are no kind of restrictions. So that comes under neoliberalism. Now, socialist economics. Socialist economics, it's based on public or state ownership of means of production. So means of production is under the control of government. Suppose people of India, this much only needed, this much percentage of goods only need to be produced. So that much only need to be produced, need not to produce beyond that. According to the people's wants, according to the people's needs, that much only is to be produced. It's not based on demand and supply. Whereas capitalist economic system, it's based on demand. Goods are going to be produced. Demand and supply are the market forces. In socialist economics, it's not market oriented. It's not based on demand. It's based on need of that particular country. How much is the need? That much only is to be produced. There is a control. Public sector units. See, in India also, up to 1991, we followed socialist economic principles. When India got independence, from that stage to 1991, we followed socialist economic principles. Maximum control under the government, means of production under the control of government. Clear? Here, private ownership assets not allowed. When Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru visited Russia, he was inspired by these socialist economic principles. we also followed up to 1991 so socialist economic principles. Socialist economies best examples, so USSR as well as Cuba. Of course, now Russia also so came towards capitalist economic principles. So based on demand and supply. From 1989 onwards, Russia also shifting towards this so capitalist economic principles. So clear. So this socialist economics, obviously it's based on public or state ownership of means of production to achieve greater equality. Clear. Means of production is under the control of government. Private ownership assets not allowed. So this is what we call it socialist economics. So clear. 1991 onwards we followed obviously so liberalization. We went for liberalization, privatization and globalization. Growth led by now private sector. Government control so drastically reduced. So growth led by private sector. Liberalization, privatization and globalization. Next one. Development economics. Development economics which would deal about the aspects of economic aspects of development process, particularly in low income countries. Its focus is not only on economic growth and structural change, it also improves the well-being of population as a whole through education, health and workplace conditions, whether through public or private channels. See, what is meant by here structural change means. What is meant by this structural change? Structural change refers to a long-term change of the fundamental structure rather than obviously short scale or short-term changes. Short-term changes. So this structural change refers to a long-term change of the fundamental structure. For example, subsistence economy is transformed into a manufacturing economy, or regulated mixed economy is liberalized. So there is a drastic change from the subsistence to the manufacturing economy. So clear, that is what we call it structural change. Here mixed economy means what is meant by this mixed economy? Regulated mixed economy is liberalized in the sense here government control drastically reduced. Mixed economy in the sense both private as well as public coexist side by side. Initially, private sector is allowed to provide the essential goods and services to the people of that particular country. If the private sector fails to provide the essential goods and services to the people of that particular country, then government would intervene and government would provide the essential goods and services to the people of that particular country. So this kind of mechanism, what we call it mixed economy. So clear, this development economics focuses so which would studies the economic aspects of obviously development process, particularly in low income countries. Its focus is not only on economic growth and structural change. In addition to that, it also focuses on so improving the quality of or improving the so standard of living of human beings through education, health and workplace conditions, whether through public as well as private channels, whether through public or private channels. See, so improving the standard of living of that particular country. So people's standard of living means whether through public or private channels, in the sense, see, in India also Corporate Social Responsibility Act 2013, this act was made. So what does it say? Corporate Social Responsibility Act 2013, it's a mandatory thing. All the corporate sector companies, out of their total profits, they need to spend 2% on welfare activities. For example, construction of toilets in government schools. So in these kind of activities, they need to involve and they need to spend the money. It's a mandatory thing. They have to do it. Otherwise, their license would be curtailed. This law was made obviously. Clear? So this is what we call it development economics. Now, green economics. So what is meant by this green economics? See, green economics obviously it focuses and supports the harmonious interaction between humans and nature. Humans and nature. So economic development is not at the cost of environment. So that is nothing but it is towards sustainable development. It focuses and supports the harmonious interaction between humans and nature, and it would like to meet the needs of both also. Green economics means. So this what friends, brief discussion about development economics, green economics. So this what friends, today's lecture. Friends, if you like our discussion, so please like it and share this session to your friends and subscribe Rao's Competitive Academy. All the best. Thank you.